Hi everybody, my name is Harry Downey, and I put this video together to show you a method that I'm using now for sanding down the Homasote roadbed that I've glued down to the layout. When I originally built the layout, I was using a sanding block like this to sand the top of the roadbed to get rid of any variables in it. Little differences that are in there. It's only a paper product, so it's not 100% perfect. The problem with it is that it's flexible. So you could be sanding and going off like this or up and down like that. I'm exaggerating, obviously, but it caused some problems in some areas. So I needed to find something else to do. What I came up with was this is a drywall sanding block. It's got a couple of advantages. One is that this is longer than any locomotive I would have on this layout. The other advantage is that it's hard plastic. And it has a handle, so it's a little bit easier to use. What I did to begin with was I drilled all four corners at the outside edges, and I tapped them with the machine. I just ran a machine screw through. It's only plastic. And I measured the thickness of a washer, a nut, and the head of the screw. And it came out to 250 thousandths of an inch, which is a 1/4 inch, which is the thickness of the roadbed. So what I'm removing actually is the thickness of the sandpaper. It doesn't sound like a lot, but it's enough. When I first started sanding it, the sandpaper had a tendency to make the Homasote, the dust roll up into like balls and stuff like that. And it made it a little bit harder to work with. So what I did was I switched over to this. This is what's called drywall screen. This is also 150 grit. But it's a lot faster to use because it doesn't clog up and it stays clean a lot longer. It's the same grit. It's not too coarse. It's not like I'm tearing the Homasote apart. The advantage to this is that it's long, and with the screws here, if you look on the plywood here, this should show up. There's scuff marks here and out here where the screws slid on the plywood. That lets me know that I'm at the same height, left to right, front to back on all four corners. So the roadbed is great. Now on some of the spots, like right here, you can see in the middle, I think it shows up, there's a little bit of a difference in the texture. The block didn't sand in the middle, but rather than keep sanding it down, the ties are going to be extending beyond that. This is Portland locomotives. They're laser cut tie strips, and so that once this is glued down, it'll go across there, and that little variation won't be a problem. The other advantage to this block is when you do a turnout, it's wide enough that you could take it. Obviously, I'm not going to sand this, but you could take it and sand like this, and get your diverging route all together, and then when they get back out to single routes, you can sand the whole thing down like that. I have about 300 feet more of track to put on this layout. So what I'm going to do, I just want to try this out. I put this together real quick to try it out. What I'm going to do is take these screws out, and you can see there's a little bit of flexibility to this. So I'm going to take the screws out of the corners and cut this foam rubber off, and then just stack up nuts and washers in here so that they're attached directly to the plastic, that there's no foam in the middle of it. And that'll give me a little bit more accuracy. It's narrow gauge trains, and they tend to be a little bit wobbly and stuff. But good tracking is good tracking, and that's going to lead to good running trains. So that's it. Thanks a lot, guys.